Hello, everybody. Joe Griffin here. And let me do my disclaimer here. Uh, we do not do any hot button topics, anything that will, anything specifically related to religion, politics, any identity affiliation, or anything that may have a political bias or otherwise to it. And with that being said, if one is a guest and that they are not obliging to this, they will be reminded. And if they are not, still not, they will be kicked out of the room. So, with that being said, let's get on with this. Okay, so a thought came to my mind from recent events is detachment and what it means. So, what is detachment? Well, I've heard different takes on this. And first, Julie, Julie and Xenon, what's y'all's take on this?
Not letting one's emotions control them.
Okay. What else?
Not letting yourself get sucked into the chaos around you.
Okay. That's another way one can look at it. How about looking at it from this perspective here? Is that not letting one get, as you said, the chaos around you, or letting yourself get pulled into the discussion, the conversation, to where you one takes on the sympathy that one may be looking for, or as Julie said, not getting emotionally caught up. Both are good answers. Both are good thoughts on this. But also in a stoicism way, that not immediately reacting, not just reacting, as I was saying, but waiting and think about what your response is. Contemplating, thinking about, taking the moment instead of just being pulled in and being on the same level as the person or people or persons that are in that environment. Being objective, keeping what is known your frame, but yet understanding and hearing and being empathetic of the situation. And with that, being able to clearly see what is actually being said. And I think with this, people think that that is a detachment from emotionally, where one is just cold. And just apathetic. And with the way things are today, there are groups of people that want people to join in on what their cause may be. And that is a very emotionally filled environment. And some people are just doing it just because, right? Just to feed it, just to incite more emotion. And yes, there are things and motives behind it. And a quick example of rights, things like that, okay? Political views, all of that stuff, okay? Or protesting something. So, and that is all very much an emotionally charged thing. And people, there are those that want people to sympathize in their yard, can sympathize with them in their yard. Okay. Or somebody's coming to you who is upset, or you're hearing a problem from, in a way, a neutral way, a neutral ground. Okay. And being able to not emotionally, like you said, emotionally letting your feelings and emotions lead one through it distorts the actual observation of the situation. I'm trying to be a little more careful here on how I'm choosing my words to hopefully make sure that this is clear and that people actually get this meaning of this. And with all of the emotional excitement, escalation that may be in with it, or maybe when we have to make a decision for ourselves, say, for example, when people buy a new car. Okay. That is, in a way, an emotional thing because cars, believe it or not, test drives, how our car rides, how it feels, all those little characteristics that one is looking for. The color, maybe how the seats feel. And let's face it, a brand new car to somebody or just flat out a brand new car that's only got 5 miles on it at the dealership, that you sit in something like that, oh yes, you're going to be like, oh man. So automatically, they're, oh man, really? So there you go. The endorphins are running, right? And the salesman is counting on that. He's counting on that emotional decision. Oh, let's go for a test drive. Well, how would you like to take it for a test drive? Or he's hoping you ask for a test drive. That way, that starts leading odds into your favor or into his favor and not and outside and out of your favor. Okay. But then the paperwork starts and you really like the car. And they go, well, would you like to talk to one of our finance officers? Well, yes, I'd like to see what this may cost me monthly. Well, the thing about this is that, and I'm using this as an example only, okay? But this is also part of the process when buying a new car, is that they want to wear you down and you get frustrated in a way to want to hurry up with the process. So you're automatically irritated. And what happens when we get irritated about something we're going through? We want it to hurry up and get over with, right? And they're counting on it. They're counting on when you step into there, you are the bug in the spider web. And it is meant to intentionally do this. Well, okay, now you're going to have to talk to so and so. Well, that person's not busy. Let's talk with this person. So you are getting a runaround in a way to break you down. And cause an emotional reaction within yourself, affecting what one thinks and how. And it's to make a decision that they want. Because once they have you and they do the numbers and you go, okay, and the haggling starts, you may forget what you're willing to pay a month. And maybe you can afford whatever price they serve you. But on the other side, you want to keep in mind, just because I have the money doesn't mean I really have to spend it. Spend it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So, and the one thing they're hopefully not counting on is that you stay neutral. You stay detached from, as said, the chaos around you. You, it is not your chaos. It's theirs. They're trying to implement to you and towards you the tool, because you want to buy that new 2025 B5X Corvette. that does the Nürburgring in a record time, and that it has an over a 200-mile-an-hour speedometer speed, top speed, and is under a supercar price. Well, that's a deal, right? I forget exactly how much the car costs, but it's a crazy price, and not out of reach for a lot of people. But on the other side, they're counting on they're counting on you emotionally going, well, I'm just getting the red Corvette. While we're at the dealership, they're counting on everything going on around you and spinning you in different directions. And hey, come over here, hey, come over there, right? Get in the candy store. Well, from there, that's where we have to go. No. And just say, look, I like the car. It drives well. It's absolutely fantastic. And it is admirable. And it is a piece of work, basically, whatever else we want to say. Well, that is not what makes his day nice. He's hoping to get that sale because he gets his commission. Okay, whatever percentage is of that sales. So, but in this, the point of this is staying in your position, standing your ground, staying in your frame. And this is difficult for people, I think, to really get this concept, to understand what it really means, and the practice of this. Because I think that with Stoicism is what this comes down to, being stoic, non-responsive. I used to think Stoicism and being stoic was being apathetic, uncaring. No, it is staying within your principles, not moral principles, factual principles, realistic principles. And being detached mixed with actual principles, reality based principles, helps with the detachment. It helps one see the truth, the reality of a situation. I've had conversations and talks and done talks like that on here and brought this up as a topic. But I think this kind of puts it all together. Because there are moral, oh, I just lost the word, moral principles and personal personal principles, ethical principles. We have to keep in mind which of those principles, with being detached, we are practicing. Relationships are another one. Personal relationships. Our family, someone we're married to, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, such as that. And this is where people can run into trouble, is because, A, on one hand, we don't want to upset a person. But on the other hand, we also need to make the right decisions and choices and make sure that things are going according to how they need to go, not always the way we want them to go. But of course, when we're with somebody, we want to be in a relationship with them. We want to be in a relationship with a friend. We even want to be in a more personal, intimate relationship with somebody. And so all of that can affect how we may remain detached. How we may see things, what our perceptions will be. And I keep forgetting the other one, our perceptions and no, well, so perspective, perception and perspective. Okay, perspectives. That I think that's where I need to go with that. So our perspective has everything to do with it. We have to keep this in mind. And our perspective, as hopefully we know, is how we see things. And the perception is how we understand them. So the perspective is what we're understanding, what we hear, which helps us remain detached. If we understand the parameters and all the elements and ingredients in something, this is not always an easy task. Because as Zenon or Julie said a minute ago, the emotional stuff, getting pulled into it, which emotions and chaos can be one and the same. And to help keep the situation calm and in a positive direction, and to progress and have a good outcome, hopefully. Now, with an outcome on something, not everybody's going to get what they want. Somebody wants to be right. But being detached also means the correct decision can be made. Not the one that is biased towards one person or the other. Because let's face it, when we are with our friends, And there is somebody there that is very charismatic, which there's always somebody who is. They will and can influence how people may see things. And if they know this and they're good at it, they can manipulate the situation. And these are very real people. This is a real example. So so being detached will also help us resist the influence this charismatic person may have and what they possess. And also being detached also helps us solve problems within ourselves. Being able to step outside of ourselves and look back in and realize where we may have messed up and screwed the pooch. So, is detachment just being dry, apathetic, uncaring, non empathetic, and just a pole? No. It is being able to relate in some way to the situation and rely and draw from our own experiences to help remain in a good place and a neutral place with it. But not everybody is successful with this. It takes practice. Okay. And that's where many times we can fall short. We can have less than stellar results. And we can be hard on ourselves, like, well, I've been doing all this, I've been practicing all this, I've been learning all of this. And people do slide, miss the boat. And that's okay. We are human beings. We are bound to make mistakes. We are bound to forget those principles. We are bound to forget on occasion perspectives, perception, reality, empathy, things that make a good combination of detachment. So, what are we actually talking about here? I think in some ways is actually being a good listener. Someone who can help someone see the troubles they're having and help that other person make a good decision. Or maybe just giving a real honest answer and saying what actually needs to be said and being honest. So there's a lot of come down tos, okay? But it's to help be a problem solver critically And sometimes you are going to be the dickhead that has to say something honest. And people may not like your answer. They may not like what you actually think. But if it is the honest, correct, truthful answer, and they get mad at you, well, hold on. You made them mad. You made me mad. No. All you did was just give your information and input. I just told you what you needed to hear or wanted to hear. You wanted an answer. Well, you made me angry. No, no. I made you nothing. You allowed yourself to get angry by what you asked for. Be careful of what you ask for, right? Because you may not like what you get. So there's a saying I think I've come up with: you get what you asked for. You get what you put in. You give what you get, in other words, okay? But you also have the consequences for your asking or of your asking. No one is innocent. No one is without something being their fault. But a good person, a person that we need in our lives, is someone that can sit back, that can watch and listen and observe and evaluate the situation. And that's what this also is you're evaluating the situation. You're computing the information. And that is allowing us to hopefully not get caught up in the emotional turmoil chaos. And don't let yourself get fooled by who you might find yourself leaning towards. Because that is very easy to do. It can kind of blind us to the reality of the situation. And we will believe that we're doing the right thing. But is the right thing the correct thing? Or maybe it's the correct right thing. Which I know that sounds like an oxymoron or something that's opposing. But however, right doesn't always mean it's the best choice or the best decision. And correct is what is the best outcome and the correct way to handle things. And they may be two different things, but also they work synonymously. Think something in there and that difference, let me know. But you know, I was thinking about this because of some recent events. You know, when you teach something or you're teaching somebody, you've got a student, you've got the master, all that. It's easy to get caught up after a while to have a different relationship, yes? But also one being able to detach themselves from that relationship and put on the teacher hat. You know, the little square hat or whatever, the professor's hat. You got the little, you got the little thing, the little tassel, all that, right? Kumadalati guy, all that. The 100 and the 198 IQ guy, right? Wouldn't that be great? Still have common sense. But so being able to detach from that relationship that has evolved, you're still leading the person, you're still teaching the person, you're still causing them to think about what they're doing. And that's what it's all about. You're you're teaching them how to apply this stuff, when to apply it, and how, and instruct them and guide them through that with themselves, and actually have them go through situations to where they actually get to practice it. It's not just words on a piece of paper or a screen. You have to actually do it, because those words on the screen, those words in a book, a magazine, whatever, they're just words, and then they have meaning when you do them. Everything is just theory before then. What is this dog barking about now? Okay. Maybe he saw a gremlin. I don't know. But so with this, that that was what was coming to mind this week. And how this can help us make good decisions for ourselves. And how we as can be better people. So hoping that this makes sense to everybody, and I think it did. And that, let me leave you with a thought, like I always like to do, like I always try to, if it makes sense or not, is how is it that we have allowed, or you have allowed yourself to get pulled into a situation that you really didn't want to be in? Now you're there. How do you get yourself out? How big a shovel do you need? So anyway, Tal Griffin out. Everybody have a good day. Take care of each other and love yourselves. Bye. See ya.